Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show today. We've got a special treat, an extra special guest, somebody close to my heart particularly, as you probably know already. A few people in chat have actually came in here before, just after I was made mod, and they were asking me, because I talked about Tarkov on the stream before, they're like, do you know this guy, the friendly guy, by any chance? I'd just been made mod, I think, the week prior. And I was like, I do happen to know him by chance, you know? So people were very impressed by that connection, and just complete coincidence. And so we're going to do an interview.
We're very happy to be joined today by TFG, that friendly guy, who is someone who streams online FPS, especially Escape from Tarkov, but does it in a way which is a bit different to what others are doing. The internet is a dark and scary place, and rather than online FPS being an exception to this, they're kind of the places where things can get the most toxic, can get the most aggressive, can get the most unpleasant. Could you introduce yourself and explain kind of what you are trying to do, which is different to this on that kind of basis?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. First of all, hello. My name's obviously Friendly Guy, as these two wonderful gentlemen have just introduced me. I am a full-time content creator streamer. I've been doing it for about a year now. Again, mostly in the shooters genre, but in other games, and dabbled in other bits and bobs as well. But yeah. So I basically play Tarkov, which is a shooter / RPG game. But a lot of people think it's just a shooter game, but it's not. It's more about the role playing, and it's not always the right decision to shoot someone. I played that without killing people, basically. Well, that was the original content, but I've kind of evolved it as it's gone on. But it's still focused around the friendly interactions and stuff like that. And then recently started to delve into other games without shooting. For example, Resident Evil, completed that without killing any zombies. That was fun. And then recently started doing Call of Duty multiplayer without any kills as well, which has also been a big change. But yeah, just trying to play games friendly and differently, where they're not generally played like that. But I'm trying to show that it can be done like that if you just put your mind to it and spread a bit of friendliness, basically. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for inviting me.
You actually don't have any guns? What the fuck?
No, genuinely, like, my name's Friendly Guy. I just make friends and give people stuff.
Got 8 energy. I'm gonna pass out.
Right, okay. Here we go. Okay, eat 15 of that sugar. Eat 15 of it.
Oh my god.
In case we get lost, you shanker man. My name's ThatFriendlyGuy on Twitch. If you want to come say hello, if we die, okay?
Oh, I follow you on Twitter already.
Oh dear, nice to meet you, mate. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I heard the voice
and I was like, oh, I'm not going back.
It's a raider.
I think you're struggling for the word there with COD, and I think it is challenge. I think it provides a new type of challenge for you, because obviously Call of Duty, even more so than Tarkov, is probably a bit more toxic as well in the community. Like we tend to see a lot more sort of why you do this. In fact, maybe not even questions of why you do this, more so just jumping straight to the conclusion of jumping in and jumping straight down your throat. So I think the community itself obviously has more pushback to seeing something different. And yeah, obviously the challenge itself presents itself quite differently, being that it is almost a full shooter as opposed to an RPG.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's two different things going on, right? Where I think what's most interesting to me is that you're subverting things on two different angles. It's not just that you're going kind of against game mechanics, but you're also going against like a certain online culture. So for instance, if you're playing Resident Evil single player, then you're only going against things in one way. Against the gaming mechanics, you're playing in a way that's not meant to be as understood by the game developers. But also, I think what's most interesting with something like Tarkov, you're also going against what everyone else that you're playing with is expecting you to do. So you kind of talk about the two different things and which side that you find most interesting, or is it the combination of the two?
I find all of it really interesting. I feel like, people's thoughts on things, often sometimes too narrow-minded, and that just aren't open to understand, like, actually that's pretty cool. It's just an instant denial of like, no, you should not do this. Thou shall not do this, and I will be very angry if you continue. But I've got tough skin from my background, so it makes no difference to me.
100%.
But I find it all very interesting. The social aspect of it, What people think I find is hilarious. But you also have the people that are like, yeah, this is a great idea, dude. Keep doing it. Doing that and being different from anybody else is key to success in the streaming online world.
And obviously, it's not just that kind of, it helps promote yourself, but if you're doing this constantly, you have to be very into it yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's I find it fun. I find it fun. It gives me a lot more time. My favorite thing is interacting with people in chat. So like, I often can kind of forget about what I'm doing because it doesn't matter if I die or it doesn't matter if I get killed because mentally I'm just like, I know it's going to happen. I just carry on and go again. But my main thing is interacting with people, talking.
It's not just you're interacting with people in the video game, but by the way that you take the video game, that allows you much more freedom to interact with your own chat. You don't have to be a massive like hyper scrub all the time.
Yeah. So what I found is if games that just me concentrating on the game, I struggle to interact with the chat as much because it's difficult to be reading and performing very, very at a high level or whatever without taking away from something and that. And I wouldn't do that. I don't like doing that. My favorite thing is talking and interacting and chatting and whatnot. But what that does is harbor a community of people that are absolutely excellent people. Like like the community and the feel that you get from everyone that's in there is. I always try and word this correctly so I don't seem like I'm necessarily insulting anybody. But I have a very mature and smart, intelligent audience that are all the same, that can understand the reasons and why it's different, and they respect it and think this is a smart idea, it's niche, it's fun, as opposed to just blocking out and saying this is wrong, you shouldn't do this. So
I certainly think positivity breeds positivity, and you put out a lot of sort of positivity in your vibes. Like the way you do chat with chat, and you often find yourself sympathizing over people's day-to-day problems and interacting with them at a very personal level, and that's key. Like you see a lot of people on Twitter who do they just go that route of making up something to complain about, whereas you're always much more solution orientated as opposed to just bringing up a problem of something, and this, I think a lot of people see that and they kind of appreciate that you're forward thinking and that you have this sort of care about them, and that obviously allows them to care about each other, and you say, like I say, positivity breeds positivity. So this community ultimately has this mass of people who are fantastic. Honestly, like that, our community is one of the best on Twitch. It's
I agree, and I know that everyone says that, don't they? Everyone says they've got the best communities, but genuinely, like the lack of you'll know yourself, the lack of moderation that the community requires, like in regards to moderating the people,
absolutely,
and moderating the toxicity or whatever that you mentioned, like is so minimal that it's almost non-existent.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it before then, but obviously going against the toxic mainstream normal opinion also really makes life a lot easier for you in terms of the people it attracts. You highlighted that I was highlighting like a difference between what people expect in terms of game mechanics and what terms of people actually do. But I think you're highlighting that very often for nearly everyone, this is almost exactly the same thing, that basically everyone plays games in the way they're kind of expected to. And that they have like a very negative reaction when it's played otherwise. Like I've seen this also kind of with people who do like glitched speed runs. People in the comments will be furious, being like, "You're not playing the game it was meant to be." And it's like, yeah, of course I'm not. That's exactly what I'm planning to do. Yeah. So why do you think gamers, and do you think it's something special with gamers, like people nearly always end up kind of doing exactly what they were meant to do as opposed to doing something else?
I think it's just how we brought up from being little to now. Like really, like you think like what we're all like kind of grown. We're all raised to do the right thing, and this is how you do this, and this is how you do that. And when you're presented a game and or whatever, and given a way to do it, you kind of just go ahead and do it. Unless unless you're creative and different and think outside the box, which is the type of person that I am. Like I always have been. I'm like super creative and think about many different ways around things, and I'm very fast at problem solving, very on the spot. Like my brain like works like that. Like I always knew I wanted to do content creation on Twitch. Like I watch all the videos and learn everything and really take in depth, what works, what doesn't work. And I always wanted to do it. I just never had the idea. And then obviously COVID happened, and then I kind of played the game quite a lot. And I'm like, you know what? No one's ever actually done this. The ability is there, but no one's ever just gone and actually done it. And then 1.5 years later, I'm sat here, and now it's my job, which is crazy.
That is good advice in terms of it has to be something which both is different, but also something that you very much want to do. Because as you say, like, you're talking about 1.5 years later, I'm here, but 1.5 later, you're here doing the same thing, right? And so if this has been like a gimmick that you'd chosen, not because you really wanted to do it, but because you just thought it would be different, you'd be fucked now. You'd be fucking trapped, mate. You'd be stuck being that friendly guy, even though it's not necessarily something you want to do. But obviously, that's not the route that you chose.
No. See, I disagree. I don't think I would be stuck. I totally disagree with it. I think that the community that's been built now, I have a core community that would watch me do anything, and that's been proven. That's been proven now. Like, and I think that's always the same with content creation. Is you build a core community that will there's people literally in the community will say, we'd literally listen to you read the phone book. It doesn't really matter what you do now. Like, so you get to a certain level or a certain like size of community, and you can kind of do what you want. Yes, it hurts you and you get less viewers, and that in turn means less revenue. But ultimately you still, I could right now, in fact, I could guarantee right now I could switch and be absolutely awful for the rest of my, I could change the content entirely and flip it, and I would still, sometimes I find my content does better when I do that. I do an alter ego once per month, which is interesting. So all this fucking nicety from Friendly Guy, all this fucking, you're so nice and you guys are amazing and all this, he's talking shit, all right? It's a persona. It's bullshit. Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Someone's stuck in the room.
I'm just doing my scout run, bro.
Well, I suggest you drop all your shit and beg for your life, or you're gonna die. I've got 6 Sobralos, 3 assault rifles, 19 grenades, and a big fucking attitude. Rah!
Huh?
When you meet people normally, are you nice or are you not nice?
I'm not a very violent person, I guess. I don't resort to violence unless necessary.
Is Tarkov an RPG? Is Tarkov an RPG or an FPS?
I guess a little bit of both. All right. Before you absolutely wreck my ass, I have a question.
Yep.
How the fuck do I find a sale was? I've been trying to...
Oh, fucking hell, mate. Wait there. Fucking stay there. Don't come out of the room. Stay there. Right.
He's the one.
Right, I don't have long to help you, all right? I can't be a nice guy for very long. I don't have long to help you. Come out. I'm not going to shoot you. I don't have long to help you, but you need to hurry up, all right? If I act weird, just ignore me. If I act weird, just ignore me, all right? If I act weird, just ignore me.
I got you.
Let me out!
Sounds like you're fighting some demons, my guy.
Ignore him. Yes. Just ignore him. It's fine.
I think that what you enjoy as well about it is sort of this experimentation and sort of getting to understand the actual sort of what people want and what people enjoy from this content. I think that definitely stands out to me, that you're very fast reacting to sort of understanding the needs of the content as well. Like when, things changed with the RMT update and stuff, immediately you responded and figured that out. It's just your sort of way of thinking that allows you to do this, I guess.
People obviously will have no idea what you mean. So I think that what you're referencing is in this game, Friendly Guy used to drop stuff for people a lot.
Yes.
But there was
in-game items,
no longer became possible. So could you explain that? Yeah,
so you used to be able to. So the whole idea was Friendly Guy is like evolved from like as a character and as like a content and as over the last year or so. But the idea was that when I started doing it, I would go into games, I would shout ceasefire and try and make friends in obviously a super hostile game, Escape from Tarkov. Yeah. And then anybody that didn't shoot me, so made the conscious effort to, hey, I'm not going to shoot you. You shout and don't shoot. And then they, which is hard. It used to be so hard, but now I think I have a small part to play in it, but now it's kind of accepted. It happens a lot more than it used to, but so it used to be really hard because a shout ceasefire, there was no voice in the game then. It was just in-game comms, so it would be a character that would shout it. So there's no voice. It was just all done with blind trust. And That's pretty incredible. I would meet them, then I would shout, cheat fire. If they didn't shoot and they let me near them and didn't shoot, I'd drop them really high level gear. and then I would just obviously run away from them, and they'd be like, "What is going on? Like, this is wild," and it would just literally break their brains. And then obviously as time went on, voice was introduced where I could talk to them and shout, "Hey, don't shoot! It's Friendly Guy," and a few people would start to recognize the voice and the character and know who I was. And then literally overnight, the developer removed the ability to be able to drop in-game items at all. So you couldn't drop anything anymore. Now, obviously, that was kind of a big part of the community and a big part of what I started. But luckily, the community had already evolved to the point where it was more about the content and the whole friendliness and just being nice. It didn't matter what I was doing. Like, I was just trying to help someone, or whether just the general channel was being friendly. It doesn't matter. So that the items didn't matter too much, but I adopted it. I switched it around. I came up with an idea where anybody that meets me in game and then extracts with me and gets out of the raid together with me, I would donate $1 to charity for every person that did that. So I made like a shoot or support idea. Would you shoot me or would you support? So all you got to do is not shoot me, and you're gonna give some money to charity. I think right now, just these last couple of months, I think like just short of 300 people have extracted with me. I think just placed some like 300. But that's just the people who've got out with me. I've had many more friendly interactions and stuff like that. I think I'm over 4,000 people like that I've talked to or had interactions with that have been friendly now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think it might be even more than that, but yeah.
So on that, like, kind of, how do you think the online FPS community situation, like from when you were younger to now, has kind of changed in terms of toxicity, and especially in kind of Tarkov, and kind of like when you're meeting with people and you're saying like, don't shoot, are they recognizing you as Friendly Guy, or do you think there's a change in the community which you were a part of, but they aren't necessarily recognizing you in that moment? Rather, it's just kind of recognizing that there's a possibility of being friendly in Tarkov and in other video games.
Both. I have all three scenarios. I have people that know it's me, people that think it could possibly be me, and people that don't know me at all. So I have like a broad spectrum of meeting all those types of people. But if you're to compare like what it used to be to now, if you're going like how it used to be in regards to gaming and toxicity and people being like that, I think it's kind of the same, but we have more tools now to be able to report and fix it. I also think as well, it's easy. It's quite easy to just block toxicity out of your game altogether. There are many options: turning off voice chat, turning off text chat, privacy profiles. Like, if you want to play games without any sort of harassment at all, it can be done. Whereas, back in the day, there wasn't those options where it'd be an open game chat. You couldn't mute your game chat or whatever. It was just, that's what it was. You were in there. If you were there, you could listen to it. So I think like the people being like that has stayed the same. It always will be. There'll always be the people in the society and world that will always just try and be an asshole generally. And you'll never get rid of that. But I think we have more tools to be able to stop it. But ultimately, it comes down to you as a person. I think people being toxic and saying things that necessarily, toxicity or racism or whatever else you end up saying, it all comes just down to me. I feel like maturity generally. It's just maturity. It is how old / mature that person is, and whether it is, and I often get asked, is there different like states or countries that are more friendly than others, and it's like, no, it's whoever's behind the keyboard at that time. It doesn't make a difference. Like, if the person behind that keyboard is a person that's more receptive to being friendly and just generally being a nice person in their life, there's probably more chance that they're not going to shoot and take the chance, because it's a video game, it's pixels, they don't care. If I shoot them anyway, it's just, they'll just go again. Versus someone who may be a bit younger and maybe a bit like, really hardcore gaming, like want to win at all costs and whatever, and they won't. So it all just depends who's behind the keyboard. It's the character behind the keyboard, and that's, you never know, right? You never know what it is, and never know, all you get is a voice, but you never know. And I think it also goes, you never know what situation those people are in as well. Like, you never know what their life situations are, what the home situations are, what the day at work's been like. And I think I try my best to just maybe make people's days. The amount of emails and messages that I get saying, you made my day, dude. Like, I was having a shit week. I've had so-and-so pass away recently. You've really been passing the time and putting a smile on my face. I get so many of those messages just by running around shouting ceasefire and making friends in a game. It's crazy. I'm dead anyway now. Not good enough, mate. You're not fast enough. You gotta shoot better, man. Shoot better, dude. So you can see, I am indeed Neo from the Matrix.
He's the one.
Do you have a concern that kind of as you get more and more famous, you won't be able to have kind of the genuine sort of reactions that you do now? That you'll be like, ceasefire, and people will be like, oh, it's that friendly guy. And they won't stop because, they have like a genuine wish to interact with someone in a friendly way. They'll stop because they're like, oh, I'm going to get on Twitch now, and I'm going to like interact with this really famous person. Is that a concern for you, or do you not really care about that, and you're happy to have the positive interaction regardless of where it comes from?
No, to be honest, I think that happens already. But to be honest, you can feel it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think to get if that was ever going to be an issue for me, I would have to be at like an absolute mega streamer status. Yeah. Like you'd have to, and even then, still people don't know. People, you can ask certain gamers from certain genres, like about I don't know, you're the big names like your ninjas and your shrouds and oh, it was Shroud, and people don't know, but Shroud's one of the biggest people in the world, and Dr. Disrespect's like, who's that? And they still won't know. Yeah. So I think it would never be an issue because I would have to be the biggest Twitch streamer in the world, and then that's percentage wise unlikely.
I mean, do you think it might happen like not overall, but like in Tarkov?
It does anyway. The more that I play, the more it becomes like a I don't know. I would say like a 1 in 3 is now. I probably find someone that knows me. Maybe even more than that. Like it's quite regular now because the Tarkov community is quite a smallish community in regards to size. Like someone going around and not killing people's kind of like big news, so it gets spread a lot.
And as the white progresses, less and less people are actually there. So the higher, and those people know more and more about the game, so they're more likely to recognize you for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it'll ever be an issue. And even if they do, it's like, hey, they're like, it happens a lot. Like, hey, it's Friendly Guy. I'm like, yeah, it's me. What's up, dude? How you doing? And they're like, oh, do you need this? Do you need that? Do you want to help? Yeah. And I'm like, it's kind of come full circle, to be fair, where now I get help from people without even asking it. It's crazy. People dropping all their stuff.
You're gonna change your approach on this basis, or?
No, because it's still often enough that I might meet random people that have no idea. Like just a couple of days ago, I met a random player towards the end of the raid, and he was ex-military. He'd retired. It was his first PC game he's ever played.
Oh wow!
And, that was an awesome raid. It was really awesome.
I was trying to find it to edit today, and I can't find it. But that's a different story.
I'll have a look.
You need to get one of your gremlins like Nathan to do it.
That is me.
So yeah, it's and then those experiences like, oh, I've just started playing PC games, and I helped him out and gave him some stuff, and then took him away, and that's always gonna happen. Those stories are always gonna happen because new people come and go. People buy the game, people change the game. It's always gonna be there. But as I progress, I want to become more of a Twitch friendly guy and not Tarkov. So like I said, evolving into different games and stuff like that. And I don't even think that means in every single game I don't have to shoot. Being called friendly guy isn't a direct correlation to not using weapons. Because being called friendly guy is because I'm friendly, the community is friendly. Whether I play the game by shooting and killing, murdering, it makes no difference. I'm a friendly guy, the community is friendly. I'm playing games. And it takes time to evolve that from going from a one game into a wider spectrum of people that will come to watch other content. But it's getting there. It's getting there. I can get a decent viewership now playing pretty much anything at the moment, and it's something that I'm personally proud of, and yeah.
We've done really well with Vampire Survivors recently, and I know Stefan's really a big fan of Vampire Survivors. His Twitch integration.
Well, I mean, I started playing it, but not to be an absolute prick, but I think I was too good, and I completed most of the game.
No, you did. You literally he clocked it in the first day. It was insane. Like the build he got on his third run was nuts. Like he just had everything.
I don't think it was absolute eliteness. I think it was just fucking luck.
Yeah, you got pure luck, but still, it was just nuts. But so I remember my point from earlier, actually, on what you were saying about when you never know what sort of state people are like after the day they've had, things like that. what I used to find in like Counter-Strike when I would play that a lot, like, and immediately when you would go into a game, there would be like these presuppositions about people based on like even just their names. You know what I mean? Like some guy would have a Russian name. Yeah, usually it would be nationality. It would be like you would see a Russian guy with like a Russian name, and immediately the first few people in like the voice chat or the text chat will be like, ugh, a Russian, we're gonna lose this game or whatever. And it's like small thing, like seemingly small things like this, like things that they think won't affect other people. Those are kind of the things that then throw off the rest of the game, make the entire rest of this game unpleasant for everyone. And it's like, yeah, like obviously, like you say, we do have the tools to sort of help with these things. We can mute people and stuff like that now. And those tools are fantastic. Like shout outs to the devs for those. But, you know, like I think people need to be more conscientious, I think is the word. And I think that's a word I would apply to you, that you are conscientious, and that shows through the medium of your work and through the medium of the videos, and that like you are thinking about these things and that you have sort of an idea of what's going to happen before it happens because of this.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and I'm an advocate for if for example, if you have a name, and obviously just saying about, you know, Russian name, etc., and people have a predisposition of what that means going to mean. But like, I also think that if people have like names that are bad, racist, offending anybody, I think they should just be banned from the game. Like, they shouldn't get a reset. You know, I mean, at the minute, particularly in Tarkov, you get a slap on the wrist and then that's kind of all you get, really. You get a slap and you can reset your name. I think if you use like anything that's offensive or like toxic or anything that's like insulting to anybody, I think you should just be insta-banned. Like you should, you know, everywhere in the world that's like police, like social media wise, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, anything like that. If you were to say some of the stuff that gets put as names in video games, you would be absolutely slaughtered and ridiculed by everyone, every friend, every Twitter follower, every family member on Facebook. But yet we just accept it in games that you can just write whatever you want as a username and no one gives a toss. You can you get a slap on the hand and you go again. And I think that would it start to learn people a bit more if they acted a bit more strongly on what's one of the biggest mediums play worldwide, which is video games.
See, I totally agree. And the reason is because what you tend to find is actually when these things go unpunished, like if you look at Twitter, like you do see occasionally where people will post like stuff that goes against the violates community guidelines, and they do it over and over again. They've got thousands of posts on their page, but they've got 0 followers. And because it's not being reported, nothing's happening about it. So because like it should be totally automated in that then they are punished and they know they've done something wrong. So then they can start to act on it. The problem at the moment is when they are being left, they have 0 followers. They've got no friends to correct them. This is part of the problem, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up CS, because CS has one of the most interesting systems towards kind of toxic players, where basically the more toxic you are, the more you're reported, the more you're kicked, the more you jump out of games or whatever. You're just put with more and more toxic people. And so that removes toxic people from everyone else, but it's obviously not a solution, because these players are put in more toxic circumstances, and that makes them more and more toxic. And it just generates like a permanent, basically like underclass of like toxic gamers, which is okay for fucking CS, but it's not like people play one video game, right? And these guys go out and they act like complete cunts, you know, all across the internet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
The thing is though, like, do you not think again it's based on like age and just growing up and learning these things? Like, I've been toxic in video games before. Like I have, like when I was younger. Like I'm 32 now. There's definitely been times where I've been toxic in games, but I think that's just, you just learn and grow. And, you know, I don't think you can never expect like a, you know, 12, 14, 15, 18-year-old, you know, potentially first time on online video gaming with other people, you know, the urge to be able to just swear and call someone a twat over the internet who lives in Brazil or whatever. Like you never, I think everyone's, you know, most people are going to do that because you're a kid and you just don't give a shit. You know, you're in that rebellious stage where you can do what you want. But, you know, I think it'll always be about the same because of the age ranges of people around the world and people playing video games is the same. But yeah, maybe we'll get to a point where if you start doing stuff like that in games, there'll be a technology that'll just automatically beep every single word that you ever say that so you have no chance. So like AI just gets so smart that if you're shit talking in a video game, it just automatically beeps everything, and you can never do it.
Yeah.
I like the beep idea. Just have like every just randomly, all the time, just whenever they're trying to talk, randomly, like not even like to any specific thing.
Wait, so if wait. Can you stop screaming?
Number 8. Why is your name Thick Dick Daddy 27?
Cause that's my Roblox name.
Overwatch has a really good system for this. Whenever you type something inappropriate in chat, it'll change it to like, I have no friends, my mommy's telling me to go to bed, stuff like this. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I remember WoW had a system where like it would be translated across the, and that's where Keck came from.
Yeah,
it's
the
like
orcish.
LOL,
Yeah,
kind of
it's LOL in orc.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really? Is that where it came from? I didn't know.
Yeah, that's the history of Keck. Yeah. World of Warcraft had a language system where if you typed LOL in as an orc, it would translate it, or it's just as Horde, I think, in general, wasn't it?
Yeah. But only for Alliance players. You also have an alter ego, Steve, who's meant to be kind of TFG's evil twin. But I think what's most interesting about Steve is that Steve isn't particularly unusual. It's TFG, which is weird. Well, Steve is, I mean, you obviously kind of push it to an extreme, but Steve is in some ways just like the average FPS player, and one that's probably pushing towards the edges of toxicity, but not really that exceptional. Like if that was your normal character, you wouldn't really be doing anything that strange, right? So can you talk about Steve and how doing something weird with your normal character can then make doing something which is pretty normal interesting? Yeah, so like, one day, this is all kind of the lore that I made up in the story behind when I launched the initial channel of I made up a story. I was making lore, and it was easy to do that back when I had like a small community. I could continue the lore and make stories up that everyone would then understand if I was talking about it. Whereas now I have so many people come and go that it's kind of, I can't do it because it would make people's brains hurt. They'd be like, I still have the basic story and the basic things that I do, but long story short, now generally people know that I have Friendly Guy, and then one day per month there's the exact opposite comes out, like borderline TOS streamer. I've been reported a few times, so people that don't understand it, it's a gimmick, definitely. The exact opposite. So it kind of makes it interesting because I really, really do push it. Like I insult everybody, like literally everyone. Like the exact opposite what I do as Friendly Guy. I'll insult people for whatever, just dropping a prime, like, cheapskate, whatever. I'm going to take you 180 and chuck it in the bin, chuck it in the river.
Bezos bucks.
Just generally, abuse everyone that comes in. But I think, it's just like, it's kind of like, people enjoy it. Like people enjoy that. People are literally getting told to go and fuck themselves. They think it's hilarious and think it's funny, but that's because that's like the kind of a bit of a Twitch culture type thing where people like don't mind that.
I think it's actually like just a general release for people, I think it's not even just a Twitch culture specific thing. I think it literally is just like a place for people to unwind a bit.
Yeah, and again, I say that it's a gimmick, but literally just think of really entertaining creative insults of what I would do and then go off on tangents about what I would do
for Steve, or you're playing the video games normally basically, or
pretty much. I exaggerate it, right? I'm exaggerating and being terrible because what I'll do is I'll just take people. What I'll do is I'll get people to give me gear and then go and waste their gear. So they'll give me gear and I will purposely just run at everything and there'll be no thought process. There'll be absolutely nothing. I will just literally run at everything and die all constantly. And then I'll constantly get told how shit I am.
I was going to say when chat lets you, when they don't alt F4 you constantly.
So I'll constantly get told how shit I am and how terrible Steve is and Steve, you shit and all that stuff. But it's all part of it. Like it's all part of it. And anybody that watches like day-to-day Friendly Guy like content when I play it properly will see the complete stark difference between being that person. But the idea is I'm big, some loud, I'm the best, you're shit, I'll take your gear and waste it. Go fuck yourself, give me ear. And then I go and die over and over. I'm like, I don't care because it's your fucking shit that I'm wasting anyway. So it makes no difference, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, people will spend money to then put me off and, alt F for me and waste my ammo and bits and stuff and just really try and get under my skin. And then that provokes more of a reaction from me, which then gets back at them and I'm shouting at them. So then they continue to do it. So I have a black hoodie if I'm the bad guy. And then I wear my flannel shirt, Booney the Aviators if it's just me.
Because I was at Nathan's on Halloween, and you were dressed as Steve, but you were playing Friendly Guy, but you were dressed as Steve because it was Halloween.
Yeah,
you were dressed up in a costume.
Yeah, that confused the shit out of people. That was my wife's idea. That was my wife's idea. To do that.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, why didn't you go to Halloween as Steve? Like, that's a good idea.
But I guess Steve as a character is more interesting than I kind of gave credit for. That you are. It's not just that you're kind of toxic, but you're also using the game mechanics in a sort of special way by making deliberate efforts to waste people's gear and this kind of stuff. So that kind of brings it on to the last question of the structured stuff I had to say, which is, do you think you're going to keep on being the friendly guy forever? Or do you think at some point it's going to wear out, but you're going to still continue to experiment with game mechanics and in kind of having a certain special personality, but not necessarily the friendly guy? Or you're still the friendly guy, but you're going to make it a much more broad kind of thing?
So yeah, I've actually had this has been a big discussion that's been on my mind. So that's kind of because like a lot of the main play bases move games because it's coming towards the end of its cycle, this wipe. So you get a lot of newer players that have, that don't even have voice turned on, that are just trying to, play in the regular way that most people play in. So it was been quite frustrating. But yeah, so, I have to try and do things differently. And I kind of decided that, I'm going to stick with the friendly stuff. Steve's still going to show up and play random games and be a massive arsehole. But at the same time, I want to just be a channel where you can come to the channel and see things done a bit differently. I'm nearly level 55 in Call of Duty with literally no kills. Like, that's unheard of, right? Like no one's ever done that. No one's ever gone, let's go to Call of Duty multiplayer and die continuously over and over again and without a singular kill, because no one's thought of that, right? No one's thought about, like with Tarkov, no one thought about doing the friendly thing. No one's thought about doing a no-kill Call of Duty run. And it's got some traction with a few of the first TikTok that I did is on 500,000 views now of the Call of Duty pacifist stuff, which is crazy because it's like the highest viewed TikTok on my channel, and it's the content that I've never even done before, which is mental. But yeah, I will continue to do things differently, think outside the box, because that's me as a person. I'm always looking to improve. I'm back alone. It's up to me now. Into the shadows, and this guy's bamboozled. Time's ticking, footsteps nearby. VIP secure with 0 fatalities. That's what I call a pacifist power play. A big thing for me is I'm very open to people's opinion, and don't think that because they have an opinion that I don't agree with or that people in chat don't agree with, that they should be instantly like cast out for that opinion. Like, if someone comes into the chat and says, "This is shit, why are you playing it like this?" It's not like, well, it's not shit because it's kind of like, well, why do you think that? Have you tried watching this? Have you tried doing this style of play? Like, what makes you think that? Like, I think shutting people down for having opinions that's different to yourself is really shit. And I think there's a lot of stuff like, for example, people get offended for capital letters, like people all writing in caps. Like, it's just letters that are big. Like, who is that offending? Like, like literally, if you write in capital letters in my twat, well, I'll see you in a bit.
Definitely don't do that.
Another thing that I found interesting when I was listening to you when I was at Nathan's house was you have an unusual policy towards people self-promoting. Channels usually really crack down on this, but you don't seem to mind.
No, I don't. It doesn't bother me if someone, I think the first thing in my chat says, you can promote yourself once with a link or whatever. That's fine. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like the chance of that person clicking on that link and then never coming back and supporting me because of that one individual link that this one person posted about themselves is very low. Like, and I think a lot of people look into it like it's some sort of like it's like deal breaking. Like, if someone promotes in your chat, they're gonna ruin your career. Like, it's so minimal of an effect. Like, and the reason why I explain this is, like, if I raid, for example, if I can raid sometimes with 100, 200, up to, sometimes I've had 1,000, 2,000 people.
We did 800 the other day.
Like, I can raid into someone's channel. I can raid into someone's channel, and I myself, even though I've arrived with that many viewers, so obviously I'm doing something right, I'll still gain absolutely 0 follows from that person shouting me out. And people's misconception is that this promotion and these raiding people is going to blow your channel up, and being able to put a link in someone's chat is going to make you, grow. It's just not. It's just not the way it works. But people's conception is, oh, someone promoting, oh no, my viewers are going to go over there. It's never, ever, ever the case. It's never, ever, ever the case. Like, to give you an idea, raided by a big streamer recently, someone who's really well known in community for his wholesomeness. Glorious E is a Tarkov streamer. He raided with 4,200 viewers. Okay, out of those 4,200 viewers, 130 people followed. So that's less than 5%, right? That's maybe 2%, 3% of those actually followed the channel. Yeah. And then of those 3%, they're ever actually going to come back and probably watch me or support me because they came from Glorious is even lower. So, and that's an astronomical size raid for a streamer of my size. Like 4,000 people's a small theater, maybe even more. It's even, even bigger than that, right? And I retained nothing from that, like very, very little. So if someone comes into my chat with it's got 100, 200 viewers on a day-to-day basis and puts one link saying, hey, I'm doing this, check out my channel, the chance that I have 5% of my people that even click on the link, even let's say 10% of people even click on the link because they're like, oh, who's this guy clicking this? I have no idea who you are. And then those people actually click the link, go over there, and the person's promoting themselves well is even lower. And the fact that they're ever, the chance of me losing anything from doing that is nothing. And I think, and often people being chat like, anybody that comes to my channel, I tell them to self-promote themselves. And so many people don't even know how to do that properly. People don't.
Yeah, definitely.
People don't. I'm like, right, promote yourself. And it might have been someone, relatively small, like getting, on their streaming journey that might have, say, 3 to 5 viewers or 10 viewers. And I'm like, right, promote yourself. And the words that'll come out of the mouth are like, I play Tarkov and COD, bro. And I'm like, who's gonna?
Yeah, so do I, mate.
I've given you an opportunity in front of 200 people to try and get a few followers and people that might come and check you out, and you can't even promote yourself properly. So what is the chances that they're going to drop a link? Someone's going to go to their channel and see a potentially half-empty page with not much information that's going to help them grow. And I it's not going to hurt me. Like, go for it, go ahead. Like, we're all in this together. Like, if I can help you out if you think you're putting your link in your chat and someone coming to say hello to you is going to help you, then go ahead, do it. Like, go ahead. Like, it's not like there's one. The way that the analogy that I use is there's not one pie that you have to just share between you. Like, there's multiple pies, and you all just help each other get the pie. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's not. Have you
had anyone that's like tried to imitate your like friendly thing?
A few people. Yeah, there's a few people branched off. A lot of people have changed their names. There's many different Friendly Guy names now where people come to me complaining that I've killed them, and I'm like, well, it wasn't me. Like, it was some other guy. And then I actually reached out to the guy that was doing it, and I said, can you maybe change your name and not do that? And he's like, yes, but it'll cost you 25 euros. And I was just like, come on now. Yeah.
What the fuck? That Tarkov should do like voice packs like Valve do. And, so that you can buy like a TFG pack so that, when it says don't shoot, it says don't shoot.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, great idea.
That is a good idea.
Do you have like a favorite don't shoot button in a video game?
Yeah, well, I've had some custom ones done.
Oh, right.
So in the community the voice actor that voice acts the in-game character has done me personalized voice. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you could potentially even hear these. Oh wait, is it this one?
I have no weapons.
Hey, wow. Brilliant. It works.
Yeah.
Hey, don't shoot. It's Friendly Guy.
Penlo, a community member, got his own little soundbite.
Penlo is legendary.
So Penlo is a viewer that had them made and contacted the person that made them and then had me some lines done. So yeah, I kind of use those over VoIP instead. So it sounds like my character in game is saying them, but when it's actually not the character in game.
Get this.
It's a great mouse.
Bye,
good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me.